What's going on, friends and family? You guys are watching Every Day is a Saturday with your host, me, myself, and I, Brian Roof. Hey, guys, we got another great day, another great interview. My next guest served his country proud 8 years in the United States Army, and now he's quite the busy guy. He is currently a police officer for a little over a decade, owns two businesses, a real estate agent, and has a podcast show called the Everlasting Veteran Podcast, which is a vessel for messages and conversations for the company and its supporters to help others through struggles and transition out of the military. Let's meet our next hero, Ryan Landry from Everlasting Podcast.
What's going on there, Brian? I appreciate you having me on, man.
Absolutely, Ryan. Appreciate you being on, brother. I'm excited to have you on and for you here to tell us all about your story, man. Tell us about how it is that you became an Army and you weren't ready to be a Marine yet. And then tell us a little bit how that, went. And then tell us about how life's going now, brother.
Yeah, so my stomach couldn't handle the crayons, so I didn't go into the Marines. The red ones were the best ones, but my family is long lived in the military world. My grandfather was 23 years Navy, World War II, Vietnam, and Korean War. My stepfather Russell was Marines and Army, and my father was Army as well. So it was only natural that I went into the military. That was my calling. It was a family surrounding, and then my uncle as well was in the Navy. So it was only a matter of time, but before I enlisted, and like many other parents, my mom was not too happy with it. To disown me is to say the least. But she is 100% supportive of everything that I got going on, which I'm so proud of. But yeah, so it was one of those things where I went to college for a couple years first, and it was 2007, and after 2 years of college, and I said, you know what, my sense of service is not fulfilled for me alone. My sense of service is not fulfilled, and so I joined the Army in 2009, and I didn't look back. I can remember when the towers hit in 9/11, and I was in my English class in Norwich, Connecticut, and I was pissed. I was pissed that at 15, 16 years old, that our country had to go through that. And there was a sense of service from that point on, along with many other Americans. And I joined the Army in 2009, and I didn't look back. And I got out of active duty in 2012 and got hired by the police department that I'm with, and went into the National Guard. And I've been with the police department I've been with for over 10 years now.
Wow, man. So let's go back a little bit, and elaborate a little bit more on your, Army career. And then I would like to even elaborate, how it is being a police officer after, serving. So let's talk about it, man. 8 years is, quite a bit of time to spend in the military. I mean, any amount of time could be quite a bit of time, but 8 years is a lengthy amount of time. What made you kind of say eight was enough? Really just a family life, or
I told myself when I went into the military, if I settled down and had a family, I was going to get out. I knew what military life was like, talking to my grandmother, with my grandfather being in the Navy for 23 years and moving around, all that stuff. And I told myself, and talking with other people, that just personally, I rather settle down. And I tell you, when I joined the Army, I said, see you later, Connecticut. I'm never coming back. Now I'm a police officer in the town that I grew up in. Right. So,
yeah, bro. I mean, I think we all say that. Like, even myself,
yeah.
when I left my town, I was in, small town in Palmdale. I was like, yeah, I never gone back. Yeah, bro. End up getting a job, still here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things, man, where, everybody drives towards comfort. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. And when things change, what is home. Home brings you comfort, good or bad. That's what and it's going to drive you home, and that's what ended up where I'm at right now, is because that's where I grew up and this is what I know. um I'm one of those people. I'm an old soul. Yes ma'am, no sir, type of people. I'm from the north, I'm not from the south, but I'm an old soul. I living where I don't belong, type of thing. And I don't fit in most of the time. That's how I feel. A lot of people haven't heard me say that, and this is probably the first time I've said it, and it's on your show. Um, is I honestly feel like I'm where I don't belong, and a lot of veterans feel that when they get out in the military, because of the changes, because of how they grew up and when they got out. The atmosphere and the environment in which they grew up in has changed, and a lot of things because of that is sparked everlasting veteran.
You know what? Before we get too far in that, man, let's go ahead and check out a little clip that you sent and you made. This was made by Ryan. This thing is awesome. So let's go ahead and check this out. Little dose of his military, since he's being, a little humble on it.
Yeah.
From the cannons, when the smoke clears, we're still standing.
Bulldog 3-3, patch 8 November, fire for effect, over. Enemy OP on hilltop, over.
When the smoke clears, we're still standing.
Yeah, man.
Love it. Love it, bro.
There's a lot of emotion and pride in that one, man. Like you got the most emotion out of that video right there, man. So the photo of me to the left, Paul Deese to the right, and Maddie in the middle. Maddie is with the Australian Army. We built a pretty good bond, and I've communicated with him. Actually, this hat right here is with from one of his buddies that served in the Australian Army, that I got from them. Yeah, that I put that video together earlier this morning, and I tried to piece together. You try to put 30 seconds of who you are into a video, and honestly, dude, that's probably the most emotional, like, of who I am, because that's live video from deployment. So the guns going off, that hillside actual VT fuse going off for the guns, was actually a live video from Helicam from our observers that called in the mission, that they were taking contact from. And so a lot of people have not seen that video. That's probably the first time it's actually hit the internet. I've held on to it since I went to Afghanistan in 2010 to 2011. So that part of that, actually, it's a longer video, but I snippeted out the dude's swearing, just because I didn't know how your podcast went. But he said, fuck yeah, the dude's dead as shit. Because they were pinned down and they called in a fire mission from us. And that was actually one of our first times of having confirmed kills in Afghanistan on artillery rounds. So there's a lot
Dropping
of
warheads on foreheads, huh?
yeah, so there's a little emotion that goes in that video because we shared a little bit when it came with that video. Um, you know, a lot of dudes have mixed emotions when it comes to me putting that up, and that's the first time probably ever it's actually hit social media. Actually, it is the first time it ever hit social media, so you should probably be proud that it hit your show first.
I
Um,
appreciate that, man.
I've held on to that since deployment. I have a lot of others that probably will not hit the internet, but um, it just goes to show what we go through, right? When we rain down steel rain, right? Whether you're artillery, whether you're a Navy, whether you're a corpsman, whether you're Marines, whether you're an infantryman in the Army, everybody has their job. Our number one job is trying to come home, but we don't think about that when we deploy, right? Unfortunately, when we get back, the downside is we're met with the repercussions of PTSD, anxiety, and everything else of did I do everything right? Could I have done more? That video has haunted me for years
Mm.
because I knew that was the first one that we had KIAs in Afghanistan on my hand. Right. I was the one that sent the mission down. I'm one of those people. I'm never going to say, oh, special forces, I did this or whatever. I'm a truthful person. I'm going to tell you how it is. All right. Everybody, and this is what we have through the veteran community as well, is everybody has their own level, all right, of PTSD, anxiety, whatever. Right. That video took me a little bit to actually compose in the morning this morning because I didn't know if it was ready. I didn't know if I was ready,
Yeah.
you know, because even though I had a mission, right, there was a mission at hand, we took lives. Think about it. We did that in the United States. I'd be in jail right now.
Right.
That's how a lot of servicemen think when they get back. Because you interact with some people in a different country, and some of them are fucking pleasant as hell. Others throw fucking water bottles filled with piss at you, you know,
Yeah,
but
right. Yep.
or bicycles, whatever,
Rocks.
yards, yeah, rocks. But you know, you think to yourself, and this is Monday morning quarterbacking, years after a deployment, and you think to yourself, did I do the right thing? Right. And on top of it, you know, I sit here and I go, we're attached, you know, to a Marine unit. We had an SF unit that would call on fire missions. You know, there were a lot of times where honestly, my mind went blank because we had such high operations going on with a fire mission, you know, that it was just the mission at hand. Right. You know, high R, loom, you know, followed by whatever they wanted. I remember we dropped, you know, VT fuses. We killed fucking turkeys, you know, the village turkeys and shit they had. And, you know, we just shrug it off. You know, it was one of those things the village people took offense to. And I'm like, you know, it's just part of it, you know, and you come back and you go, was that real life? You know, and you know, even now I go, I don't know if this even happened. because your mind is trying to process stuff that happened, and you second guess the actual reality of the mission, and you sit here and you go, that actually happened. You go, I don't know. And then you try to like justify or change the parameters of what actually happened. And then what happens is you go to your VA appointment and you go, no, that didn't happen, because now you don't know if it's true or not, because your mind is actually trying to suppress the PTSD from whatever you had going on, and
I could definitely relate to that because for me, sometimes I'll talk to some of my buddies that I deployed with and stuff, and rough conversations, and they'll tell me stories, and I'm like, it just, you totally forget about some of this stuff, a lot of it. I
yeah,
think I forgot about a lot of it, because a lot of times when they'll bring it up, I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, that really did happen. I forgot all about that part. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's just some things I think that we, mentally do try to block out, or maybe we don't necessarily want to remember it. So we compartment whatever, departmentalize it, whatever. Yeah,
departmentalize.
I can't
Yeah,
get that damn word.
yeah,
Math from, English from Rains wasn't for me.
yeah.
But
Crayon
nah, man, I mean,
paper was more for you.
right.
Yeah,
But nah, man, I could definitely relate in that aspect. I
yeah,
mean, just having conversations with buddies that I deployed with, and I'm just like, damn, okay.
yeah.
Didn't realize that happened. I should have said something about that.
Well, and that's the thing is like, I've thought about it over the years, and I'm one of those people. Like, listen, I'm not special forces. I'm not a ranger. I'm not these high ops stuff, right? I didn't go through the worst of shit. I didn't go through the best of shit. I wasn't at CAF. I wasn't at BAF, where Kandahar Air Force Base. Listen, they tried to write me a ticket for not having my PT belt, right? We ran zero light in the night for the majority of the time that I was there. Right. I go back to CAF to go back home for 2 weeks, and they're trying to write me a ticket for not having my PT belt. So people have to understand that your deployment or veterans deployments, depending on where you're at, all right, is going to be significantly different, and your job is going to be significantly different than the person to your left or your right. Right. So if you're at Kandahar Air Force Base and you're an MP, your job at night is making sure everybody has their PT belt on, right? God forbid you're reflective in the middle of the night. Where I'm at, right? And I'm up north, right? South of Kabul, right? We are not running PT belts at night, right? If you have a PT belt on, it makes you a target, right? So, people's deployments, and this is what people don't understand in the veteran community, is even though somebody is deployed to Afghanistan or in a combat zone, right? I'm not privy to say that I was with a special forces unit and we did this XYZ. But I'm going to tell you that I was not sitting behind the largest Air Force base in Afghanistan, where that's where people, Kandahar Air Force Base and Bagram Air Force Base, CAF and BAF, is where the country music artists and politicians would go and do their peacetime shit, right? That is where they would say, we went and visited the troops. That is where Robin Williams, God rest his soul, went to, and they turned their back on him, right? People have to understand that there are many levels, just like PTSD, that veterans go through, and that is one of the biggest things in the veteran community that I run into. That's a big issue that causes the most turmoil, is they get offended by other veterans that they were National Guard, never deployed. Because I'll tell you right now, I talked to a dude for a 2nd Cav regiment, and they were trying to, this is a couple years ago, trying to do no deployment patch at all for everybody on the base. So when I was in, if you deployed, you had a deployment patch, you had your unit patch. It was an honor to wear the deployment patch of the unit that you deployed with. New people coming in got offended that others had a deployment patch because they never deployed before. That's what the veteran community was dealing with. I never brought it up till now because I'm in a slow progression with Everlasting Veteran. Season 3, I'm about to blow the roof off because I'm sick and tired of people playing the victim card. We're an American. We support each other. Doesn't matter what branch you came from. Doesn't matter what walk of life you came from. All right. If you served in active duty or National Guard or reserves, I respect you. Once you get out, you are considered a veteran by letter, but don't compare yourself. If I compare myself to a special forces unit, that's wrong. Right? Just like Force Recon in the Marines, I'm artillery. If I compared myself to Force Recon in the Marines, that's wrong. That's what we're dealing with in the veteran community, and nobody wants to talk about it. And it hurts the transition coming out of the military. And that's the only reason why I talk about it. Because you have people coming out of the military in transition. That's one of the things that Everlasting Veteran started, is when you transition out of the military, you have to be factual why you're transitioning, what's your skill set to get the job that you need. Be honest to who you are. We had for years, especially before the pandemic, of the stolen valor, right?
Deep.
It is disrespectful.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Right?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That's one thing that really irks me, man, is people claiming something they didn't earn. You know what I mean?
Right.
Each of us had to earn our titles. And,
Right.
And we worked really hard for it. Some of us blood, sweat, and tears, man. There's guys with broken bones that had to do it and stuff. So it's I can't stand it, man. I mean, you come across it a lot, like in social media, like TikTok. And I catch them, and I can usually catch it, and it's like, oh boy, and because especially when someone claims Marine, there's a lot of times I can't catch a lot of the other branches right off rip unless they're super horrible. I've caught some of them, like Army. I'm like, oh man, that doesn't even look right to me, but when it comes down to the Marine Corps, man, there's something that the Marines are taught. We are taught a long history of the Marine Corps, guys that came before us, war heroes. There's just so many different aspects that we're taught that you, as a Marine, if you are a Marine, would know. There's just certain questions that we would ask, and you can totally tell when someone's like, they start asking, like, well, what was your platoon number in boot camp, and they throw off some weird letters or something. You're like, no, okay, we know.
Yeah. So I'll tell you this, I'm not the most decorated person, and I served my time, I'm not one of those people to say like, look at me. But I'll tell you this, right? And I'm gonna zoom up. All right. So right here, this is my shadow box. Right. And I only bring it up because you have a lot of people in right now, right? That, they haven't deployed yet. All right. 1, 2, 3. And I actually created this immediately after I came out of active duty. So I have 2 ribbons that should be there as well. So I'd be working on my 5th row actually with the Rhode Island ribbon. All right. This is actually kind of out of date. I created this back in 2012. All right. And I got my cab here, drivers, and the hell is that? Shooter's badge. All right. We also have the Presidential Award, all right, for our unit, 2nd Cavalry Regiment, for our deployment, the task that we completed for our deployment. That's the one that I take the most pride in. What the hell am I doing right now? All right, so let me scroll down. So the presidential unit, right, is for the unit entirely. It's not a personal badge. It's not one of it. I can wear it any unit if I was still in. But it's not a personal badge, right? Well, technically it is because you were with the unit at the time.
Yeah, I got one unit citation award.
So that's the one the cab, yeah, but the presidential unit, all right, is one that I hold dear because as a unit, a 2nd Cavalry Regiment, in the AO we're operating in, we came and we conquered. We made a difference. The shit that we were doing as a whole, all right, awarded us that award. All right, which I could, if I was still in, I could carry on to whatever unit that I was with. That's a team effort.
Yep.
And that is an award in which when you get awarded it, and 2nd Cav, I've talked to many other 2nd Cav brothers, and as a Marine, there's a different atmosphere when you're around Marines or when you're around a Cav personnel. There's a certain connection, right? Which you have the hoorah or the hooah, right? And you feel whole again, right? Because you went through the shit, right? You learn the same thing and you just have that understanding of each other.
Now you're with the dogs.
Right. You just have the understanding of each other, right? And that's what people don't understand about the veteran community, right? You and I connected, and it was instant connection. It's the first time we're seeing each other face to face, right?
Yep.
There's a different connection when it comes to the veteran community. And we can immediately realize when you're a fake and when you're not.
Oh yeah.
And most of the time, they're not fakes. Let's be
Shit
real.
floats, man. You know what I mean? Shit floats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Hershey bars stay on top of the water.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you get that Snickers right on top of the water that everybody's going to run away from.
You can smell it too. You know what I mean?
You smell it. The shit fucking stinks. I'll tell you this, man. The worst thing right now for veterans is politicians.
Yeah.
And
politics in general, brother. It's all to create more division, and it's just a way to pin everybody against each other and create hate, even amongst the veteran world, man. There's guys out there that want to, you know.
Veteran, yeah, I agree with you. It's not just the veteran world. When you have separation and divide, all right,
Yeah.
you can conquer.
Yeah.
Right. That is there's multiple different ways to lead or move a body into a different direction. Right. When you create separation and divide, you can create hate and discontent. All right. You have people working against each other. Then what happens is the body that makes the decisions goes, well, you can't agree with each other, so we're going to make the decision for you. Right. So then people have hate and gets discontent against each other, right? And we miss the big picture. All right. The big picture is we the people. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what class you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. If you came here and if you're a legal citizen, you're a United States American, all right, you belong in this country legally. You are protected. We love you. It doesn't matter who you are. We love you, and you are entitled to everything that America brings to you, the freedom of speech, and everything else. As a police officer, I'll tell you this. People come at me, and not as much as you see on YouTube and Instagram or TikTok. People don't come at us as much as you want in the southeastern Connecticut area of the world. But I'll tell you this. We do have it sometimes. We also do have people that are white in color or Caucasian that try to play, you're doing it because I'm white. And I go, is this reverse psychology? Like, you're a person. I will treat you like a person. If you disrespect me, disrespect somebody else, or put us in danger, then I have to take action. People don't understand that is I have to go home to my family just like anybody else.
Right.
I'm a human. I'm a police officer, but yes, I'm a human. I have feelings. A lot of people don't talk about that. Right? Does it piss me off? Most of the time, not, because I kind of brush it off and go, here we go again with another person that wants to like play some type of card, but at the same time, it gets tiring.
I think this year has been the biggest eye opener for myself in terms of realizing, man, because I've played the game too. I've been playing the game myself for a while, but now it's the realization of like, wait a second, hold up,
wait a second, what game are you playing?
This the game of life, man. I was playing this game here and playing along with politics, religion, race, all those things. And instead of, at the end of the day, we're all human beings, man. You know what I mean? And we all should strive to have a great life and strive for our kids to have an even better life. You know what I mean? And how do we do that? We make what we live in today as good as we can. You know, and give it over to the next generation, a good place, man. But if we're sitting here as adults making ourselves like idiots, and we're setting a tone for all of our children growing up, you know, and a lot of us, man, it's generational stuff. It's stuff that we're passed down generation after generation. You know, we do have a responsibility at every generation to educate and make it a better place for the next, and not go back, man. But we tend to do that time and time again. You know, we keep on going back to the things that create the most hate, and it's crazy. Our media is crazy with creating so much animosity by by putting a color on everything they talk about. This person is this color, did this to this color person, or this color person did this to this color. And then it just creates, it's like, wow, well, why did you even have to point that part out? You know what I mean? Like it's like you went out of your way to say, make it about an ethnicity or something else when it has nothing to do with that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It has to
Yeah.
do with the fact that the person broke the law,
Yeah.
created a crime, all these things. It's a sad world that I think that the media is portraying and it's allowed. It's
Yeah.
just crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, you're right with it. A lot of people don't realize, like, my family, my daughter, my stepsons, my wife, are indigenous. They're Native American. My brother-in-law, is he got his citizenship. He came here, um, went into the Marines, got his citizenship. Um, a lot of people take, a book at face value, you know, and it's sad. A lot of I tell you right now, a week and a half ago, I arrested a dude for he had a warrant, and I'm getting called a racist. I got to do my job. The court says you failed to appear, and I get called a racist. And we're all in cohorts together, so on and so forth. And we just had powwow this past weekend. Many indigenous tribes from the area, and it was such a blessing, because we haven't been able to get together in years because of the pandemic, and you just realize what's valuable in life: family, health, and that's what the most important thing is, and people, and I call it first world problems. If you're not healthy, you need to worry about yourself. If you're striving to be a better person, then you need to do something better for somebody else, because that's what a better person does. And Everlasting Veteran is just that. Myself, I'm just one person. I don't have a team behind me. I don't have, other people telling me what to do. I don't have people building my website. This is me. Everything that you see from Everlasting Veteran is me. I have my brother-in-law, who is the dog breeder in which I get dogs from, who's a former Marine,
Not
and
former. He's not a former Marine, bro. There ain't nothing former to us. We are
former
Marines all the
former
time.
former crane eater.
No, he eats them still. He better.
Yeah, he's some cooked. He eats them cooked. But I'm just saying is, it's saddening, right? You give yourself to this country. You give yourself to a community, and you are told that you're a piece of shit. You're told that you're a racist. You're told that you're doing it because of the color of your skin. Because there's people in this world that just hate. And it's sickening to me. Racism has no color. That's what people have to understand. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, Puerto Rican. All right. My brother-in-law is from Trinidad. My niece and nephew are part Trinidad, part Native American. My daughter is Native American. My wife is Native American. We have no race in our house, but I'm viewed as the white man that is racist as a cop.
Yeah, man, it's a rough world that we're getting into, and um I haven't really got to have this conversation with any officer, so I'm glad I actually have you on the show to kind of to talk about some of these things that I actually have questions about myself, dude. Is how do you guys go on with knowing that sometimes you're absolutely hated, bro? I mean, and you look at the news nowadays, and especially the media, they start pinning you guys as bad guys and showing the showing, and that's the other thing. You see a video and you see the little snippet and you don't see the beginning of the snippet, you know what I mean? What led up to the thing. And so sometimes obviously the way that you can create a video, it can make anybody look a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
But how do you guys deal with this, man? I mean, I know your guys' mental health and stuff like that too. I mean, it's got to be rough. It's got to be rough to go out there and, you know, once upon a time ago, and I remember when I was a kid, man, you see a police officer, we're all waving and hey, excited. Nowadays it's like I feel like other people have a bad omen against them and stuff, and I don't feel like it's now you guys are walking around and having to like be looking over your freaking backs and your shoulders, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I love it and I hate it. So growing up, like my blood cousin, my uncle, is black, right? He's dark skinned. I never grew up with race, right? I never grew up with, I never grew up with like the understanding that you're just tanner than me, right? And I understand now at 30, almost 37 years old, that it doesn't matter what color you are. You can be a racist, black, white, Puerto Rican, whatever, right? You don't just have to be, and this is the topic that people don't want to touch on, just like suicide, right? Because it makes them feel uncomfortable, right? And then as soon as you see it makes me feel uncomfortable, people back away. Do you like
Or
me
run away,
or run away? Do
Yep.
you like me as a person, as an individual? Do you like me as an American? Right. And the thing is, so many people are like, especially with the Trump and whatever, build the wall, you know, listen, I'm all for protecting the country. I'm all for protecting our borders, because what happens when people from other countries that have ill intentions to commit crimes in our country is not protecting our people, we have violence. That's all it is.
I think there's a big misconception there too. I think that people like automatically assume we don't want people here. That's not
Right.
it. We just
No,
want you to be here legally. We want you to, pay your taxes, pay your, be
right,
a good citizen, and not be someone that we gotta pay for you to live here.
right,
So I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from.
right.
Just do what is told to, yeah, as a US citizen, there's a criteria for all of us and stuff. I mean, man, I don't care who you are, as long as you fit that criteria and you're here and you're not just trying to take from our system, you're helping our system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I agree with you on that, man. And we could literally have 90 minutes of another conversation of it.
You're right.
But I'll tell you this, the majority of the Americans love America. It's the ones that are the loudest, right, that people are seeing, right? That don't think that Americans love America, right? And I thought that for a while as being a police officer is people hate everybody fucking hates us, right? And what happens is it changes your psyche, right? And people wonder why police officers are disgruntled most of the time because they're expecting the attitude. They're expecting to be talked to like shit. They're expecting, to be treated like shit. They got treated like shit for 8 hours. Now they have another 8-hour shift. There's a lot of multitudes of stuff that goes into policing that people don't really understand. I just so I got off a 16-hour shift at the end of the 8 hours before I went on the desk. I got an intoxicated lady, right, that all of a sudden wigs out and tries to swing on us. She's got to go up to the hospital. She can't care for herself, whatever. She goes, "You're hurting me because I'm white." Just let that sink in, right? So if somebody screams, "You're hurting me because I'm black," does it change it? She's a white woman, right? And she's screaming, "You're hurting me because I'm white." I literally was flabbergasted because most of the time I hear, "I'm a white police officer. I'm doing it because they're black." Let alone they have no idea my background as my cousin being mixed, my uncle being black, my nieces being from Trinidad and Native American, my daughter being Native American. Right? We just had powwow this past weekend and cultural week this past week, but yet they look at me as a white man. That's all they see. And I only say it because it's important. It's important to my family. It's important to my daughter as I raise her.
Now, is it just like a thing now too? Is it the white cops in particular getting that bad omen, or cops in general getting it as well?
It's cops in general.
Or you just get the double worst of it all because you're a white cop, and now you get the
I get the double edge of it, and also people that I work with, if they're not white, then they're Uncle Sam. And
right, yeah.
it's they just hate cops because it's a media objective that's been pushed forward, right? You called us. If you're not in the worst time and you don't need police officers, then why did you call us? We don't want to do paperwork. That's more work. Who wants to do more paperwork? Do I go to work and go, "I want to type some stuff"? No, absolutely not. I want everybody to get along and everybody go to bed. And I've worked nights since 2013.
Yeah. It's rough, man, with the social media industry, and everybody out there is a news reporter now because everybody's walking around with a cell phone.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, a lot of the videos that make it out there portray cops as assholes, all that stuff. Because it's just that's the only thing that people like to put out there is negative, negative, negative. Because they don't want to see that whole positive side on how much. I mean, I've seen, and you don't see these videos as often, but there's cops out there that go and buy people meals and take them out, take families food. I mean, all kinds of things, but those are the things that get pushed more to the side. And we're going to elaborate on, "Oh shit, man, he pushed that guy to the ground. He pushed him to the ground," after he told him that like 1,000 times to get to the ground. And then, finally he's got to tackle him because after the 100,000th time, he didn't listen. Because I mean, every video I've ever seen, I see a I see cops probably say 20 different times, no shit, before they actually do something about it in terms of a physical.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like any job. There's bad apples,
Right.
right? There's people in the profession that, should not be in the job and they do wrong and they should be punished, right? Cops should be held to a higher standard, rightfully so. But it's just like when Texas at Fort Hood, when the military had a prostitution ring going on, it doesn't mean that everybody in the military is into prostitution, right? You can't paint everybody with a broad brush.
Yep.
If you
And that's,
did, everybody would see the military as being a huge prostitution ring.
Yep.
But really, it was just two guys in Fort Hood that had a prostitution ring going on in 2010. It's the same example. Like you got people in, just like the military, there is a small percentage throughout the country that are police officers. So naturally, you're going to have people that are held to a higher standard that mess up. How they mess up is on them. Don't do anything illegal. It's a pretty fucking simple thing to do,
yeah.
right? You're a police officer. You're supposed to arrest people for doing stuff illegal. Don't do it yourself. You should be held to a higher standard, just like the military. And if you're held to a higher standard, you should know that you're going to be punished harder than everybody else. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of eyes, especially when someone's pulled over. They're watching, they're looking. I mean, everybody, you could just, the traffic slows down whenever there's a cop on scene with some lights on. Boom. You know what I mean? Everybody is over there like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Get their cameras out and start videotaping. But it's, you guys are in a profession now that the focus has been, let's get in all the bad stories we can, and it just, I feel like that's a lot of what the social media keeps doing to it. And
Yeah.
it's a horrible thing, man, because it's making the profession, I imagine too, dude, even getting new candidates to come through and guys that want to come and be cops now are starting to shy away from it. Same thing even with the military. I mean, people are starting to shy away from it because of the bad press and stuff like that. It's sad that our own social media and stuff like that. This episode's probably getting not going to make it in the cut because of all this stuff we're saying. But the truth be told, man, a lot of the stuff that our news likes to focus on is just absolutely bad news. It's never the great stories that are the ones that they keep focusing on. They keep focusing on this happened over here. You know what I mean? And it's like, and also they come in half loaded with their stories, or it's built around a narrative that they're building up.
Yeah.
And that's
People
the
don't-
rough part, man.
Yeah. People don't like real talk. That's the
Yeah.
thing. And so, and that's the thing is so it's season 3 of Everlasting Veteran. So season 1 and 2 was designed to help with the transition, to help with resilience. So you're getting a lot on this episode because you're getting footage that people haven't seen, and you're also seeing the side to me that people are going to see in season 3. So your episode right now, episode 40, right?
Yeah. This is episode 40, by the way.
Yeah, episode 40 is the breakout episode. I have held dormant long enough. I don't care about cancel culture. I don't care about whatever you want to say. I'm going to tell facts. I'm going to help veterans. I'm going to help first responders. I'm going to be respectful at the same time. But truth is going to come out.
People hate facts.
People hate
facts, man.
and that's the thing. Is that the thing? And the worst part of it, and the biggest thing, and I've been waiting for season 3 because that was the ultimate goal. Season 3, a lot of people steer away from saying suicide. They stay away from the word suicide. They stay away from self-harm. They stay away from police officer in the same sentence. I have, and on your show, and because it's episode 40, I have the ambassador for the hero's journey, who is the main ambassador for the Gary Sinise Foundation, coming on Everlasting Veteran to start things off at the end of September, because we want to air it on Gold Star Mothers and Families Day, which is the last Sunday of September. So this is the first time that it's being announced on your show that she is going to come on and talk about her son that was killed in Afghanistan the same time I was in Afghanistan, actually. And she is the ambassador for Gary Sinise's the Heroes Journey Foundation, in which she is sponsoring, and she's coming on Everlasting Veteran. So I am absolutely flabbergasted, but at the same time honored to have her on the show. So this is actually the first time that anybody's going to actually hear about it.
Outstanding, bro. Let's go ahead and actually talk about Everlasting Veteran and kind of what brought you to it. How did you get the name? How your show works? Let's just kind of get everybody familiar with Everlasting Veteran. Just run us through when you started it, what made you start it, the name, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I have to actually give credit to Everlasting Photography. There's a couple people that are actually near and dear to my heart. We had a falling out. I still will not use anybody else until they're ready to come back on with me. And they had Everlasting Photography here in Connecticut, kind of a local, just, photography business. So I have Everlasting Properties LLC, which is more of a personal endeavor. I'm a sole proprietor on that. But the sole goal was to use them in photography and videography and stuff like that. Amazing, absolutely amazing video and photographer. Like, that's why I'll never use anybody else. If they never want to work with me, I'll just have to do my own stuff. And they're just amazing people. Heather and her husband are just amazing people, and I tried to bring them on to, start something with Everlasting Properties. Things kind of fell out a little bit. They're amazing people. I think at some point we'll reconnect, and then Everlasting Veteran kind of took birth. I lost a second cab brother to an overdose. His sister tried to, and never met his family before. His sister was trying to reach out to people that he served with. Eugene Porterfield, amazing individual. I got a phone call as I came home from work one day. I was about to lay down, and I work nights, so it was about 8 a.m. and I I got a phone call. They had a service that day because he passed away from an overdose. More of a purposeful overdose because she tried to get him help and he took himself away from the program to get high. That morning, I reached out to a guy that I served with 2nd Cavalry Regiment that I knew was in the area because I just ran into him and said, hey, I'm running down to Jersey, which is about a 3.5-hour drive from where I'm at. And Porterfield died. He overdosed and his services now. We made it just in time. My buddy Steve Johnson met us, or just him and I. And that was our first time meeting his family. From that point on, I had a guy, Ryan Young, that I met through policing. I never met him before other than being a police officer that constantly was suicidal. Constantly was ODing, constantly was intoxicated. And I got in touch with my doc, my medic from 2nd Cav, Doc Powers. And I said, Doc, I got a guy that I don't know how to help. He was with the Broken Wings Foundation. He said, send him out to me. We'll take care of him. We'll get him on the right track. We'll get him through our program, do some life skills, teach him fishing and all this other stuff. So I tell this guy that I met through policing, I said, listen, do you trust me? You're a Marine. I'm Army. And you can look up Ryan Young from Massachusetts. He drove his gunnery sergeant covered in the American flag in which he had from Iraq and to the post, and they did a whole news story on him. So the dude's legit. Not faking it. And I said, you trust me? It's the only person he trusted. Said, I'm going to send you to Illinois. You're going to my doc, my medic. We're going to get you right. And my sergeant at the time, guy I grew up with, Nick Rankin, he helped me out. We paid for his airline ticket, and his wife, who was also addicted, I said, you guys go get right. One-way trip. When you're ready, you'll pay for your airline back. Hard lesson, hard program. Somebody I trusted to send another veteran to. And from a dude that was suicidal almost every single weekend, he is now sober, living back in the area with his family in Massachusetts, and looking to see the next day. That's not looking to die. It drained every single ounce out of me. Where I said, I don't want another person, another veteran, to die on my watch. An everlasting veteran is born. And in the first short 6 months that I launched Everlasting Veteran, we were able to donate the first dog to a veteran that deserved it. That 100% of the food for the first year and the services to make the dog a service dog.
Little Frenchie, right? Little French bulldog.
Yes. Togo, a.k.a. and now Winston Togo.
Okay.
So he wanted to do Winston because he wanted to do bow tie, whatever. He's loving life.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole point, man. Like, this dogs are amazing. This dog, and I'm going to have Shad on for season 3. I had this dog for 2 weeks at my house. I have 2 dogs of my own. I have a Frenchie from my brother-in-law, and I have a lab as well. Dogs, no. It doesn't matter if they're certified or not, right? This dog I had from 8 weeks and until 10 weeks. In that short 2 weeks, that dog knew when I needed somebody. I'm a disabled veteran myself. All right. I'm not the worst. I'm not the, freaking 0%, like I have anxiety, I have PTSD, I have my moments. I'm not one of those people who sit here and be like, I can't function in life. I can function in life, but God damn it, fucking life is fucking hard sometimes for us veterans. We have a hole. We have a hole that we sometimes just can't fill. That's the reality of it. There's a hole that we're going to constantly be trying to fill for the rest of our lives that nobody's going to be able to understand that concept. And that's the reality of it. And when you understand that and you are able to comprehend that, then you chase whatever it is to halfway fill that hole. Because it makes life just a little bit better. And nobody will ever understand that unless you're a veteran, unless you've gone through what we've gone through. And that's Shad right there. That's Shad. That's Togo. People knew before they changed his name because I had to give him a name. My daughter gave him a name. That is Winston T. Right? That's his blue bow tie that matches his eyes. So Shad be coming on. Shad is First Special Forces out of Fort Bragg. You guys will not know when he comes on because I have to keep his identity when he comes on secret. I have a couple others coming on season 3 that I also have to keep their identity secret. So I just want to put that out there. They're still serving because they have constant missions going on, but you will not know when he comes on or the other ones. I'm grateful. We're not talking shit about the military. The military is great, but it's just mission readiness type of thing. But dude, I'm just so grateful, man. Like the overwhelming support. I thought people forgot about the military. I thought people forgot about our veterans, and starting the push I did with Everlasting Veteran gave me hope again in the American community. And that's one of the pieces of the whole that needs to be filled with our veterans. Transition is a very complex thing. A lot of people don't realize it. We got to change transition. Everybody's transition out of the military is different. And it's a very complex transition because if you don't have housing, you don't have somebody else to go back to, you don't have a job, where do you land yourself? And now you got 3 months to get out. So what are we doing? If I told you right now, Brian, you're done podcasting, you got 3 months to figure it out, you got no paycheck, what are you going to do?
Figure it out, man. I definitely, right. I'm not the kind of person, I will make sure I got another way. Usually I don't put my eggs all in one basket all the time, bro. Usually there's always a plan B, as I've gotten older and I've realized, you can have a plan, You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean it's always going to go the way that you want it to go.
All right.
So there's always a need for a backup plan,
Mhm.
or something else to fall back on, so that way it's not so devastating, man. I think
Yeah.
that a lot of times we get devastated is because we put all our eggs in that one basket. Our expectations are high,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden we're not meeting those expectations, and then the next thing you're like, oh shit, and then you lose. You start putting out. You got to
Yeah.
have something that can fall back on, or you can have that state of devastation, and then you can feel lost, or a fish out of water, so to speak, type of
Right.
mentality. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like flopping around, like, oh shit, what am I gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's important for us to, live in the present, but prepare for the future and forget about the past. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because some of these things aren't gonna, I think living in the present is a big thing for us. A lot of us get caught up in, you know, how- too worried about what's going to happen next, which we don't really have any kind of control over what's going to happen next, so to speak, type of thing. Um, and then a lot of times we get hung up on something in the past that happened, and
Mhm.
then we get so hung up that we can't move on. So we're not able to live in the present. And then when you're not living in the present, man, you're not giving everybody that best of you, so to speak.
Yeah. We can't change the past, but we can't predict the future.
That's right.
And we got to be the best version of ourselves for us first and then everybody else after.
Yep.
If you're not the best version of yourself, in which I started season 1 off and Everlasting Veteran off, and I will continue. If you're not the best version of yourself, then you can't be the best version of yourself for somebody else.
Yep.
You know?
You got to learn how to love yourself, laugh out yourself, talk
Mm-hmm.
to yourself. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You got to be your best friend in a way. At, at the end of the day, we live with ourselves the most. There's no one else in the world that lives with us more than ourselves. You know
Yep.
what I mean? So to be inside that body, to be inside that all the time, you gotta love it, man. I
Yeah.
mean, there's probably people that think I'm crazy because I'll laugh and be a goofball and have over there laughing like to myself, but I'm having a good time. I mean, I think the one of the most liberating things that happened to me is stop living for others and stop giving a shit what other people think. That
Mhm.
was probably one of the most liberating things for me
Yeah.
is is living for myself and being okay with how I'm living my life and not caring about how someone else thinks I should be living my life or whatnot.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got a fucking opinion.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure. You know what I mean? Um, but you know what they say about opinions?
It's like an asshole. Everybody has one.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah. 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 That's you know, unfortunately, with the shit we got going on right now, social media has to be involved. Otherwise, I would cancel all of it because I am sick and tired of hearing from these children that have not even lived life. They haven't put a ounce of work, into this environment, this country, and they have an opinion about what needs to happen. And okay, yeah, if you got a better way to do things, you can make money, then make yourself your own boss and start your own LLC and go into business for yourself. Other than that, shut the fuck up. Because that's the truth of it,
Yeah.
right? Because I have two businesses. I have two LLCs, right? I'm doing it myself. I have nobody else doing it for me. I am the one doing all the work. I am the one running the podcast. I am the one doing the creation of the shirts, the apparel, the marketing, the strategy, the apprenticeship. And then I have my other one, which has to do with properties and snow plowing and everything else. I'm the one scheduling. I'm the one doing this. I'm the one editing. I'm doing this, whatever the case may be. And then I have my regular job. And then I'm also a realtor. So fuck you. Go get a real job. Learn what it's like to work hard. All right. Do I have to do all this shit? Absolutely not. Do I do it because I want to better myself? I want a better future for my daughter and my stepchildren and everything else? Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, when I die, what do I have to live for? I'm creating something. It's a legacy to pass down.
Well,
I'm
don't you feel like our culture is creating this type of mentality and everything, especially after the COVID world?
Yeah.
Now everything, you can get your groceries delivered to your house.
Yeah.
People got rich off of streaming and off of playing video games. People were getting rich, just being streamers, and so a lot of the younger generation, that they're seeing like, oh man, oh what, I can get rich playing Call of Duty, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And
Yeah.
no, not everybody gets rich off of it, you know what I mean? It's just a thing. But I feel like our culture is creating almost a path of laziness, for I mean, I guess I don't know what other word to use here. But
So it's in
it's just
any concept in the field of job work, right? You have people that are really good carpenters that are very successful. You have people in the world of entrepreneurship with real estate that are great at flipping or are great in the real estate world that are just 100% realtors. You have people that are just good entrepreneurs that have a solid business that provide for their family, and they're good at what they do, and it's in their wheelhouse. Electricians, the whole nine yards. The thing that comes down to is the generation that we see right now is they think that they just do it and they have the title and they think that people should just pay them because they have the title. They don't want to do the hard work, but they have the title. So they think people should just pay them. That's the issue that it comes down to. They don't realize, the 5 years, 10 years that people put into building the business in which they have. All right. They think that they have the title, that people should just give them money.
oh yeah,
That-
oh
that's
yeah.
that's what it really comes down to. They don't want to do the hard work, right? People don't realize, as an entrepreneur, if I stopped policing and I would just went into full-time entrepreneurship where I was a realtor, doing the podcast and my other business, I originally may not make as much money as I am right now as a police officer. I make decent money on the side doing what I'm doing. But with Everlasting Veteran, honestly, that's not what it's all about. It's about helping other veterans and first responders and, Gold Star families. That's why I created Everlasting Veteran. My other business, Everlasting Properties, that's a personal endeavor when it comes to investing in properties and doing snow plowing and property management. That's a different story. You're paying for more of a full-time service type of thing. And people don't understand also is nonprofit and LLC. People still get paid from nonprofits. LLCs, it's it's a business deduction versus a tax write-off. People don't really understand that, and I don't know, and that's why I think a lot of like nonprofits got a really bad rap. Not only that, there was what was it? Wounded Warrior Foundation had a controversy when it came to, embezzlement or whatever. So you have a lot of people trying to harp, and jump on the veteran bandwagon of helping veterans. So people naturally just don't trust anybody to begin with. Right. So then
Yeah.
you have like Grunt Style, which is like the king of like clothing, and then like Nine Line, which is like comparable, and then you have Valhalla Project. Those are your three like kings when it comes to like, veteran apparel type of shit. One's, or two's for profit, one's a nonprofit. And they're trying to like, help other nonprofits. You got what is it? Nine Line is working with Fight the War Within, which I met in North Carolina. They're helping with their apparel. So you have a lot of small companies that like Nine Line and like Grunt Style that are working with that are nonprofit. But at the end of the day, what happens is Nine Line, Grunt Style, all those are like multi-million-dollar companies, right? Grunt Style came in at a perfect time. They got great shirts. They donate and they help. I'm not knocking them at all. It's just they're the Nike of the military clothing area, like that's just how I compare them, because they have multiple store locations now, the whole 9 yards. But people have to understand that there's other veteran small businesses that are trying, like Everlasting Veteran. The clothing helps with the dogs, right? There's other small businesses. Killfoot Clothing, it's another local one in Connecticut. He founded Guardians of the Purple Heart, nonprofit organization. He's a Purple Heart recipient himself. There's other organizations or businesses that are trying to really help. It's just PR wise, whatever, they're not known, and it's tough getting your name out there. It's tough to get people to trust you, because just like the banks, they want like product, they want evidence of work type of thing, to be able to give you a loan, right? Same thing goes for a small business. You say you're going to do something, you say you're donating a dog, you say you're paying for the food, you're paying for this, that, the other thing. They want evidence. They want proof that you're actually doing it. And I do it, and I get fucking ridiculed. I get freaking trolled on the internet, which apparently I guess is a good thing. I didn't know that was a good thing. I got people from different countries trolling me on social media. And then I also had my legal team because I'm trademarked, I have my legal team about to send out cease and desist orders because they're trying to comment below my shit. Apparently they're selling Everlasting Veteran stuff. And I'm like, is this real life? Am I really dealing with this right now? I never thought in a million years that people would take such, I don't know what to call it, such energy to try to replicate what I'm doing to try to make money. I never thought that in a million years. But here I am, 4 weeks ago, I was about to have my legal team send out cease and desist orders on a post that they were trying to sell hoodies, which I have them not put out yet, to make money.
Wow. That is crazy, man. The
And
web is a really crazy world anymore, man.
And I've been up and running since February, right? So like in the clothing side of things, my clothing line just started launching at the end of July. So the only thing I have for clothing is only supportive apparel for the podcast, which is like the hat and the shirts. I have, dude, when I tell you clothing line coming out, Grunt Style has got something coming for him. Because Yeah, they have no idea about sayings for the military. Just saying, grunt style, and I've talked to a couple people that grunt style is great people. I'll tell you right now. But I have some sayings that they have not come up with, which I'm surprised they have not come up with. That they I'll just tell you this, like everything's not going to be a logo on the front. This is initial supportive apparel because I'm trying to get the first dog out there. I'm trying to get things out there, but yeah, vet bot all the way.
Oh yeah, man. So you started up in February, huh? When was
Yeah.
your actual first episode released?
I think it was February, or maybe it was the beginning of March. I think it was the beginning of March was the first episode. So the first 3 episodes was just me, myself, and I. One of them in which the most one that I take to heart of all the episodes I've done so far was the knock that gave them wings. So the first 3 episodes came right from here. I would sit in my cruiser, come home, and I'd either just put stuff on paper or put stuff in my phone. And it was literally just me talking to myself. And the knock that gave him wings it's not perfect, but it's the most meaningful. What the vet was the first come out, but the knock that gave him wings was a personal feeling of being a police officer at the same time of losing your son and daughter or daughter in the military as a Gold Star member, of getting that knock at the door, and then also being the police officer, being the responding officer to multiple veterans that committed suicide. So it was a mixed emotion for me. It didn't come out perfect, as perfect as I wanted it to. But I had a lot of emotion going into it because there is many people that I responded to as a police officer I knew was a veteran that committed suicide. And I kind of took it personally. What could I do better as part of the veteran community to stop suicide? Like this is one of my brothers, this is one of my sisters, even though I didn't like serve in the war with them. Some of them are the same age or younger than me. And so the knock that gave them wings was a very, very, very personal episode to me, and a lot of it stemmed from Eugene Porterfield, one of the buddies that I served with, 2nd Cavalry Regiment, that unfortunately overdosed at a VA hospital purposefully.
Mm.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize, man. A lot of people shake their head. Go, it's a shame. They're such a good person. They served their country. Well, what the fuck did you do 6 months prior to make shit different for them? Did you pick up the phone and call them? Did you text them? Those are the things that sometimes can make the difference because they know somebody's there.
Yep. It is important, man. And I know even sometimes the people out there that seem like they're good aren't always good. You know, it's important that we check up on everybody, even when we think they're doing good, because a lot of people could fake a smile.
I've
You
done
know?
it many times. I've done it many times myself. You know, even recently. Now, I'm not one to say I haven't. You know, I'm an open book. You know, the struggle with me is real a lot of the times. You know, even though I have a podcast, things, you know, I put a lot of work into what I'm doing, but I'm not immune to like having bad days just because I'm doing some good stuff. A lot of people don't understand that is just because people are doing good stuff. I'll put it this way. So, you know, I had the fortunate uh, time of connecting with a guy named Rick Morello, who runs, he founded Through Tragedy Comes Light, and he heads Man 22 Suicide Awareness Run down in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Third Special Forces guy, great dude, Ranger. There's a lot of times.
Oh, sheesh. I'm having an earthquake, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hold up. See if it stops.
You ain't shaking. Just do this.
Wow. Dude, that was seriously an earthquake. Yep. It just said earthquake detected.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. Well,
If
yeah,
you-
I did say that this is going to happen because of the hurricane coming through. It's
well, don't drop
it's
through
on the
ground
fault
on me.
line.
Don't drop through the ground on me.
Oh my gosh, bro. I am upstairs too.
Well, if something happened, I'm honored to be the last episode. No, I'm just kidding.
Number 40. I made it to number 40 at least. You know what
40,
I mean? Damn.
yeah. You know, but I say this, man, is it doesn't matter how much, you know, we do. We a lot of times the people that push for the most are the ones that hurt the most. Right? Because they're trying to I'm a helper. All right. I've realized that years ago. I'm a person that rather help people more, and I don't even listen to my own advice. And as veterans, as first responders, right, that's in our nature, right? And we have to understand that we need to have our own time to decompress, to try to decompartmentalize things, talk to our loved ones, because if you're consistently always helping people, who's there to help you? That's really what it comes down to. Find that one person that just is willing to listen. So, with Everlasting Veteran, even though it's a podcast, I specifically chose to put just headphones because sometimes we just need to listen. There is a reason why I chose the logo. Because your memory, even if you're not here, your mom, your husband, your wife, your cousin, your brother can tell your memory and others will listen. If you're a KIA, if you committed suicide, unfortunately, even though it's a podcast, the headphones resembles just listening. And a lot of times we need to just take that moment to just listen to somebody else. If somebody says to you, hey, you have a moment, sometimes that might be the last time you talk to them. we don't realize sometimes if that's the last time. But if somebody makes it purposeful conversation to say, hey, I need to talk to you, you need to take a moment. Life is not as important when somebody just wants to say, I need to talk. And that's, and that's the biggest thing when it comes down to the logo. Sometimes we just need to listen. And it may save somebody's life. So
It's a great message, man. It's a great message. And, I started about a month prior. I think about a month before you did, actually doing the whole podcast thing as well. And, man, how much it's helped me actually too, being able to talk to others. Um, it's, and how I started my podcast too, is I just started with telling my story, telling my story about when I grew up. I went through divorce and all that stuff. I went through a lot of things as a kid. Um, Divorce after I got out of, the Marine Corps and stuff. I went through a whole nasty divorce myself. Um, but, talking about a lot of these things started making me realize, man, how much better I started feeling about it. And also some of these things that we talk about, they're hard. They're hard to talk about. But someone out there probably can hear or needs to hear the message that someone's talking about, that hard thing that needs to be talked about.
all right.
And that's why it's important, man, for us to try to be as transparent as we can. I definitely have given some stories up about me that don't shed great light on me, and don't make me look like a great person by no means. But
Nobody is 100%, like the perfect person.
yeah, and I don't have a problem going out and saying that, because in order for me to be a better person, I got to accept the bad parts that I've done, the wrongdoings. Because you're never going to get past those things if you can't accept that you did them wrong. If you
Right.
don't think you made anything wrong, you're not going to be able to fix something that you don't think is wrong.
Yeah.
But once you realize that you made something wrong, that's when you can start to fix it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes things aren't always salvageable. I mean, gosh, my
Salvageable.
mouth is
Yeah.
my mouth is not working today. But some of these things are just, you could blow it up, blow the bridge on up, man. And some of them are unrepairable. But what if there's the biggest thing that my message can come out across, and us having conversation like this as two men to the younger people out there, is deal with your shit, man, when you can, while you're younger. Don't just sit there and pile it up and allow it to fester. Because I think that we always don't want to look back and say, because we find ourselves, and I think when you're younger, your pride is even huger than most. I mean, you just think you're on top of the world, everything. You can't do anything wrong at that time. But once you start accepting and things start hitting you, and your pride starts getting, subjected, we suppress a lot of that because we don't want to sit there and act like we're broken, or we don't want to own that, because that kind of messes with your pride, messes with your freaking bravado,
Yeah.
But man, I mean, if you can accept some of that stuff then, and instead of like, man, I'm good, and you accept it back then, you could salvage and save so many different relationships, problems with your job, just different things in life in general. Uh, having that clear mindset is a big thing.
Yeah, I would add to that too, especially with the new generation, is like, listen, like a paper cut's not the same as a broken bone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So pull your big boy and big girl pants up. All right. And there's a lot of people that sacrifice more than you did. So you gotta be comparative, when it comes to like suffering. there's people in this world that suffered more than I have. I am not a college graduate. I have 2 businesses. I am successful, but a lot of it came on my own. A lot of my learning. I went to college for 2 years and said it's not for me, and I went to the military. I don't have a college degree, and I'm proud of it. College isn't for everybody. I am where I am right now because of my life choices, but make the right choices and own up to it and accept it. If you make the wrong choices, then that's on you, and let's face it, like, college is not everything, right? The pandemic happened, everybody with a college degree, and that's all you had no job, you had no paycheck,
Alone.
alone, sitting
Yeah.
at your house, right? So the essential workers, and mind you, like, our city did not pay us the COVID money, right? That everybody else sitting at home got. I never got an extra check, but I still had to come into work, right? That's how I got treated. That's how everybody at the PD got treated. Right? People sitting at home that were city employees got the COVID money check, and we didn't get extra money. We still had to come to work and do our job. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, we're complaining about it because everybody else that got the extra money from a pandemic, right? Probably bought an extra TV, probably did this, whatever.
Probably couldn't
Right?
even tell you what they did with it. Honestly, it's probably just gone.
Yeah, it's probably gone. But that's how people get treated in a public service job. Right? You either try to sign up for a job that's going to pay you handsome, but you owe a shit ton of money, or you become a technical public servant, police officer, fireman, whatever. Even gas station clerks became heroes. That's a topic for a different day, but
Sore subject, I would say, for you, huh?
yeah, but it's one of those things that you just sit back and you go, the reality that I live in is completely different than the person in front of me. And it leads me to my next point. There's only 2 genders. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah. Boom. I couldn't agree with you more, though, bro. I
Yeah, my
mean,
male dog cannot impregnate my
I,
female Frenchie that I have. Not only are they different size, but one's a male and one's a female. One is fixed, the other one is fixed as well, and they can't have babies together.
our world has gotten unbelievably crazy, bro. I mean, I can't imagine
It's a mental
a
health
person
crisis.
that and that's it. And we're enabling a lot of it. We're playing right into some of it. That's the one thing with mental health, man. It's such a slippery slope, dude. You could go really crazy to one side, and then it could be underappreciated or underlooked on another side. You
Well,
know what I mean?
slippery slope is like, I'm going to go blow this up, or I have depression.
Yeah.
Right. So slippery slope is so right now with this whole fucking gender thing, right? They want to say that gender is subjective. No, it's science.
Gosh. Well,
It's
and that's the thing. Go and bury a person, a bone, take their bone structure
hey,
from
look,
back in the day. They'll be able to tell you whether that person was a male or female with no flesh, nothing on their body, just by looking at their skeletal remains.
hold on, Brian.
So,
I'm calling 911. You're having a miscarriage right now. The ambulance is coming. Oh wait, you can't because you're a male. You can't have a miscarriage because you're a male, because it's biological to you. That is science.
Yeah.
That's how things work. If you are born Sarah and you want to be called Tom, I'll call you Tom. I respect you for who you want to be. But
If you tell me you're Tom and you say, "Hey, my name's Tom," I'm gonna call you Tom.
yeah, but here's the thing: is if you're born a girl or you're born a boy, and you want to be called something else, or you want to be known as something else, that's fine. All right. I'll call you Tom, I'll call you Sarah, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, you can't force on me the fact that there's more than two genders. Biologically, there can't be.
Yeah.
It's not subjective.
It's not even a question, bro.
You and I cannot say right now that we're having miscarriages. All right. Even if
the only case that I would say would come close, and I do know that this is it is a possibility, is hermaphrodites. Now that world would be, but they're born with either one more, like, primarily. So say if they were more a female, they're able to have babies and all that stuff. But they may have just
it's a very rare occurrence, and it's scientifically proven that that's how they're born.
right.
I can accept that.
Yeah.
But if you're born with nuts in a penis, or you're born with a vagina, then you're male or female. And that's the technical terms. All right. Testicles in a penis or a vagina. That's the technical terms. And that is what I tell my daughter. She is 7. I don't say lady parts and boy parts. I tell her the actual terms, because that's how you should teach your children.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy, bro. Like my oldest, she's in college now, and she goes to UC San Diego, and they have to identify themselves when they talk.
Yeah.
And how they identify themselves is whether they're her, him, he, whatever. It's just crazy to me, bro, that I I have a hard time dealing with a lot of stuff already. You want me to sit there and try to figure out what you are today? You know what I mean? Like, and if I miscall you something, you're gonna freak the hell out on me. And I just
makes you
that
want to
stuff
try
is
to identify yourself again.
yeah, bro. I mean, that's where you start losing me. I mean, honestly, that's when you start losing me in some of these things, is when you go over the top. It's just like, hey, you want me to respect you as an individual? I can.
Yeah.
But what you're not going to do is start erasing things and facts and trying to make me believe another way because it fits your narrative.
Yeah.
That's where I draw the line hard.
I look at the same way as like religion, right? So like, we believe in the creator, the people, you got Catholic, they believe in, Jesus Christ and God. You got people that, they believe in Jesus Christ and God, but they believe that Jesus hasn't been born yet. The same thing goes for religion. They have their own like scripture and everything else. You're not going to tell me, all right, my beliefs, all right, and it's religion is a protected class. You're not going to try to tell me what I believe is wrong.
Yeah.
Just like if you were Jewish and I was Catholic, I'm not going to tell you what your Jewish beliefs is wrong. What you believe is your religion, and what I believe is mine. It's the same concept. It's very simple. I don't understand why people can't get that through their head. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, right? If you want to believe that, fine. What I believe is this. All right. But you can't tell me I'm wrong, and I can't tell you you're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Right?
goes both ways.
If I had somebody on my show that was they, them, whatever, chances are I would tell them, listen, we're not going to talk about that because that's not up for discussion.
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't want to deal with, 1, politics, or 2, something that we're never going to agree on. All right. You believe in what you want to believe in. I'll believe what I believe in. We can still be friends.
Yep.
We can still exist together, but we have two different beliefs, and that's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a lot of people don't want to accept. They want us to accept the untrue facts. And that's what it really comes down to, is they want to make it a factual thing, but it can't be. It can't be factual.
Yeah.
Right? That's like I said, listen, $1 worth $10 because I said so.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Like, no, this is 10. I don't care what you say. It's 10.
I don't get. Hey, I need 9.57. Here's $1. No, that's not enough. No, that's worth $10. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
because I say it's true, it doesn't mean it's true.
Yep.
You know,
100%.
and that's where society's gone, because we went through a pandemic. Everybody fucking lost their mind.
Oh my gosh, bro. It was like a reset.
It was
Reset in the world or something,
wasn't
bro.
even a
Like,
reset. It wasn't even a reset. It was a fucking malfunction.
it was like a shakeup, like a fucking
It was
rolling a snow globe. Yeah, like here's your snow globe, man. Shake it up.
Male, female. Like people.
Oh no, but today I want to be a unicorn, or you know, like, geez, bro.
If they said they're a unicorn, I'd believe that.
Yeah, but it's just more believable, at least.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
only because of the crazy hot matrix. You ever seen that? All right. But
This is Real Talk with Brian and Ryan.
Yeah, Brian and Ryan. Yeah, I tell you, man, it's one of those things. It's just, people lose their fucking mind, and it's like, and then you got the cancel culture, and then you got like, don't say this, or people are going to delete you. Dude, I haven't said shit that offended anybody, and I'm still fighting fucking Facebook wars to keep my profiles up, even though I'm Facebook verified with a blue check mark.
Yeah.
And then
I'm here, man. There's, you know what? That Facebook is just loaded with AI bots, though, bro. And they just cling on keywords or anything like this. I was messing around with one of my good buddies, Derek, and I was telling him that I'd kick him in his nuts if I saw him, just like joking around. Like I even started off with, "I love you, bro, but I would kick you in your nuts for talking about yourself," or something like that.
Yeah.
Community guidelines, community violation, saying I had hate speech, and something else, bro. It sounded really like, damn, I could get charged federally or something like it.
Yeah, it was probably spam.
Some AI bot, man. I'm just like, come on, this is crazy.
There's a lot of Facebook people that are actually starting legitimate stuff. Just to let you know, there's a lot of Facebook. It's not actually from Facebook.
Yeah, I know. I've been seeing this.
Yeah, it's spam. So you got to click on it. There's a legitimate, only official Facebook thing that would come. So like all my shit, even my personal page, Ryan Landry, is a business page. And there's a official Facebook email that you'll get from the support team. Other than that, if it says Gmail, fucking discard it. It's from, fucking Malaysia or whatever fucking country it comes from.
Yeah.
They're trying to steal your identity. Sell your
I know, man. Facebook's getting to be man, I'm not really a big fan of it much anymore, dude, to be honest with you.
It's one of those things. Social media fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Right. But if you want to like try to get shit out there,
you gotta use it, unfortunately, man.
That's the world we come to.
Yeah.
People you get the news from TikTok, and you get the real facts from the dinosaur of Facebook. I remember when Facebook first came out, and I was so privileged to get on because I had a college email. Nobody else could get on. All right. And now we're in Facebook world where people are creating profiles just to fucking scam people, and or follow the person that blocked them because they're a fucking stalker. Like, that's literally the world we live in right now. And then TikTok is their news. So if you have a world event, people are learning about it via TikTok more than they are actually the news, because the news doesn't want to get it right. They just want to go with what is going to keep them on the air, whether it's the Democratic or Republican parties. That's really what it comes down to, right? Who funds the most? TikTok doesn't really have that much. So whoever owns the news network is going to push the most out, but people are going to go to TikTok because it's more convenient. So if you have a sex change, and I say you have a sex change on TikTok, people are going to believe it more than Channel 8.
Right. Yeah,
Just
man. Facts, man. I mean, that's where a lot of people get their news. I mean, a lot of people don't even watch anything other than social media stuff. So
yeah.
it's crazy. But
Yeah.
man, dude, we've almost gone almost 2 hours. I bet we can go a whole day. But
Hell
is
yeah,
there
man.
any last things that you want to say that you didn't maybe get to say about Everlasting Veteran,
Yeah.
or
So
just in general?
I just say, man, like, the clothing, the apparel, I started getting the weekly donations and stuff. It helps providing the food to service dogs, the training. It goes directly to that. I don't have a board sitting behind me. I don't have people telling me what to do. It goes directly to it. And that's why I started it, because I was sick and tired of bad raps from organizations and nonprofits, and I'm starting to pair with legitimate nonprofits that I know. But I'm doing my best, man. I'm one person. I'm only human. We're able to donate the first dog this year in the first 6 months, which I'm I'm just happy, man. It was, I didn't think we are going to be able to do it in even the first year, just starting stuff up. It's a lot of money that I've poured into it, on my personal money. um because I want to make things right. I want to make sure it's done right. I want to make sure people know that I wholeheartedly am invested in this. And I've saved a lot to get things to where they're at, and it's a personal endeavor. So
Well, hey, man, I really appreciate you coming on, and I really appreciate what you're doing for the community. And I'm looking forward to season 3 myself, bro. So, and I'm really glad you came on, man.
I
And I
appreciate it.
and I hope that we can do this again. I think it's a lot of fun. I think we could actually have some good real talk conversations. So
Yeah,
maybe
I'll
that's
have
something
to have
we
you
can look
on for
for in the
season
future.
3.
Hell yeah, man, love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's get real. All right, my brother. I appreciate it, man. So once again, thanks for everything you do, and thanks for coming on, man.
I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Just stand still, and I'll be back there in a second. All right, all right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching every day is a Saturday. I appreciate you. Uh, Also, go check out Everlasting Veteran. Go give it a like, follow, and get ready for season 3. It's got sounds like it's going to be one that you're not going to want to miss. But once again, until next time. Arr.